Senior observer Caxtol's crystalline appendages trembled as they interfaced with the emergency broadcast system. In their 3,000 years of watching developing civilizations, they had never initiated an Omega-level alert. The towering alien's iridescent skin pulsed with waves of dark purple, a clear sign of distress among their kind. Supreme Council. Caxtol's translated voice resonated through the quantum channels. I request immediate implementation of Protocol Deadbolt. The observer paused, knowing their next words would shake the foundations of galactic society. Earth must be contained. Now. In the Council's vast chamber, representatives of 500 advanced civilizations erupted in simultaneous conversation. The Vexri delegates' bioluminescent crests flared with alarm, while the silicon-based meridians hummed at frequencies that threatened to shatter lesser beings' environmental suits. High Councilors in Tax raised all four hands, demanding silence. Observer Caxtol, you understand the gravity of invoking Protocol Deadbolt. No species has ever warranted such measures. Observe. Caxtol transmitted their latest data packet. The chamber's holographic display erupted with images of human advancement. A timeline appeared, showing Earth's technological progression. What should have taken millennia had happened in decades. Quantum computing, fusion containment, neural interfaces. The development curve was nearly vertical. This morning, Caxtol continued, a human researcher named Dr. Amanda Brooks made an intuitive leap that should have been impossible. She didn't just solve the quantum entanglement stability problem. She did it while making coffee. She sketched the solution on a napkin between sips. The Council watched the recorded scene. The human female, dressed in what they considered primitive clothing, jeans, and a coffee-stained Princeton sweatshirt, according to the cultural notes, had casually rewritten the laws of physics before her morning meeting. The humans call it a eureka moment, Caxtol explained. They're the only species we've observed who can make revolutionary discoveries without building on previous research. They jump. The Meridian representative's crystalline form sparkled with skepticism. Surely one researcher's lucky insight doesn't warrant. It's not just her. Caxtol projected more data. In the past month alone, we've recorded 47 similar breakthroughs across their planet. A college student in Mumbai solved atmospheric carbon sequestration while playing video games. A farmer in Kansas accidentally invented a primitive gravity manipulator while trying to improve his irrigation system. High Councilors in Tax leaned forward, their ancient eyes narrowing. How long until they achieve interstellar capability? At their current rate, Caxtol's skin rippled with fear patterns. Weeks, maybe days. And that's not the worst part. They hesitated before adding, they're starting to notice us. Dr. Brooks's coffee break calculations. They were about detecting quantum observation systems. Our systems. The chamber erupted again, but this time in panic. Everyone knew the protocols. No species should be allowed to develop interstellar travel before proper cultural assessment. The risks of an immature civilization gaining access to galaxy-spanning technology were too great. The containment field. Syntax decided. All in favor. The vote was unanimous. Within hours, the most advanced technology in known space engage. The quantum crystalline barrier enveloped Earth's solar system, transforming the planet's sky into a shimmering curtain of light. In her lab at the Quantum Research Division, Dr. Amanda Brooks looked up from her third cup of coffee as the aurora-like lights began. Her colleagues rushed to the windows in panic, but she remained calm, studying the phenomenon with intense curiosity. She pulled out her phone and sent a quick text to her research partner. Jack, remember that game boundary glitch you found in Stellar Exodus? I think someone just tried to put Earth in a box. In the Archivist's observation hub, Caxtol allowed themselves to relax slightly. The barrier was impenetrable, designed by the combined genius of hundreds of species over thousands of years. Earth was safely contained. They didn't notice Dr. Brooks's small smile as she pulled out a fresh napkin and reached for her coffee cup, her mind already racing with possibilities. 3 months into what the media had dubbed the curtain crisis, Dr. Amanda Brooks sat in her cluttered office, surrounded by whiteboards covered in equations. Across from her, Jack Thompson slouched in a worn office chair, his feet propped on a stack of research papers as he manipulated a holographic game interface with practiced gestures. "You're going to think I'm crazy," Jack said, his fingers dancing through the projection. "But this containment field, it's using the same boundary mathematics as every video game ever made." Amanda raised an eyebrow. "You're saying advanced aliens are using game developer tricks?" "Not exactly." Jack sat up, his usual laid-back demeanor giving way to intense focus. "Look at this." He pulled up side-by-side comparisons of the field's energy patterns and his old game code. "In gaming, we have to create boundaries that keep players in while still letting them interact with the environment. The aliens are doing the same thing, just at a quantum level. That's why the field lets light and some forms of radiation through," Amanda muttered, her coffee forgotten for once. "They're not just containing us. They're observing us. It's a cosmic terrarium." Outside the quantum research facility, the perpetual aurora painted Seattle's skyline in otherworldly colors. News helicopters circled overhead, documenting the latest civilian attempts to study the barrier. The global response had surprised everyone. Instead of panic, humanity had embraced the challenge with almost disturbing enthusiasm. Amanda's phone buzzed with a text from General Sarah Martinez. "Brooks, the UN's asking for updates. Please tell me you have something." "The military's getting antsy," Amanda told Jack. "They want weapons, but I'm thinking we need to approach this differently." She walked to the window, watching the shimmering barrier. "The aliens expect us to fight back. What they don't expect is for us to understand them." Jack grinned, pulling up more code. "That's where my misspent youth comes in handy. Every game has exploits, unintended interactions between systems. If this barrier works like a game boundary, we can find the glitches," Amanda finished. She was already reaching for her tablet. "We need to think like speedrunners." Across the planet, similar conversations were happening in labs, garages, and coffee shops. A teenager in Brazil discovered she could send Morse code through the barrier by bouncing radio waves off specific points. A mechanic in South Africa found that certain sound frequencies made the barrier ripple in predictable patterns. In the archivist's observation hub, Caxtool watched with growing unease as humans approached the barrier, not with fear or anger, but with curiosity. Their latest report to the Council was filled with disturbing observations. "They're adapting too quickly," Caxtool reported. "They're treating the most advanced containment technology in the galaxy like a puzzle to be solved. The human Thompson has already identified structural patterns that took our scientists centuries to perfect." High Counselor Zintax's response was immediate. "Impossible. The barrier's underlying mathematics are beyond their comprehension." "With respect, Counselor," Caxtool's skin rippled with stress patterns. "They're not trying to comprehend it. They're trying to break it. And they're using methods we never considered." Back in Seattle, Amanda and Jack had retreated to the building's roof. The barrier's glow cast strange shadows as they set up their experimental equipment. A bizarre combination of quantum sensors and gaming consoles. "Traditional physics says this shouldn't work," Amanda said, connecting the last cable. Jack shrugged, powering up the system. "Traditional physics never had to deal with human gamers. We're about to sequence a quantum barrier using cheat codes." As their hybrid device hummed to life, the barrier above them flickered, just for a millisecond, but enough. Amanda's phone immediately lit up with messages from observatories worldwide. They'd all seen it too. "First rule of gaming," Jack said, his fingers flying over the controls. "Once you find one weakness, there's bound to be more." Amanda smiled, already calculating their next move. The aliens had created the perfect prison, but they'd made one crucial mistake. They'd challenged humanity to a game. and humans have been breaking game rules since the first cheat code was invented. Ashley Martinez stared at her science fair project, wondering if she'd accidentally broken the universe. The device on her desk, cobbled together from 3 smartphones, a modified microwave emitter, and her mom's old tablet, was definitely not doing what science said it should do. The small patch of aurora-like barrier visible through her bedroom window was rippling in time with her machine's pulses. "Mom," she called out, her voice shakier than she'd like. "I think you need to call Aunt Sarah." General Sarah Martinez had been in the middle of a Joint Chiefs meeting when her sister's call came through. 20 minutes later, her convoy screeched to a halt outside a suburban Houston home. Dr. Amanda Brooks and Jack Thompson had already arrived by military helicopter. "Let me get this straight," Amanda said, studying Ashley's contraption with a mix of disbelief and admiration. "You built a quantum harmonic resonator for a high school science fair." Ashley shrugged, tucking a strand of dark hair behind her ear. "I was trying to make a better wireless charger, but then I remembered how my phone gets weird interference near the microwave, and I thought about how the barrier kind of looks like a giant phone signal." She trailed off as she noticed all the adults staring at her. Jack was already taking pictures of her setup. "Kid, you just did in your bedroom what my entire development team couldn't do in 3 months." "The science fair is on Thursday," Ashley said quietly. "Do you think I'll still be able to present?" Her aunt couldn't help but laugh. "Honey, you just changed the game. The whole world's about to be your science fair." Within hours, Operation Prodigy Protocol was born. The premise was simple. Humanity had spent 3 months approaching the barrier problem with conventional scientific wisdom. Now, they would try something new. "We're looking for outside-the-box thinkers," General Martinez explained to the hastily assembled UN committee. "People who make intuitive leaps, who see connections others miss. Age, education, background. None of that matters anymore." The response was overwhelming. A 12-year-old in Kenya discovered that certain dance music frequencies created predictable barrier fluctuations. A retired plumber in Norway found a way to pipe quantum data through the barrier using principles from his old job. Each breakthrough, no matter how small, revealed more about their cosmic prison. In the archivist's observation hub, Caxtol was approaching total panic. "They're recruiting children to solve quantum physics," they reported to the council. "And it's working. The Martinez girl's device shouldn't be possible. She's 16. She learned quantum mechanics from online videos." High Counselor Syntax's usually steady voice carried an edge of worry. "How are they doing this? No species develops this way." "That's just it." Caxtol's skin had taken on a sickly pale color. "They're not developing. They're remembering. Somehow, they're accessing knowledge they shouldn't have. Every human breakthrough feels familiar. Like what? Like they're rediscovering something they already knew." Back on Earth, Ashley had been moved to a special research facility, along with her entire science fair project team. Her bedroom setup had been perfectly recreated, down to the positioning of her stuffed animals. "The environment matters," Jack had insisted. "Whatever sparked her insight, we need to maintain those conditions." Ashley sat cross-legged on her transplanted bed, watching Dr. Brooks study her device. "I had a dream about it," she admitted. "About how it should work. It felt like remembering a song I used to know." Amanda looked up sharply. "A song?" "Yeah, like when you hear music and you know what note comes next, even if you've never heard it before. The math felt like that. Like I was remembering it instead of learning it." Amanda and Jack exchanged looks. Similar reports had come from other Prodigy Protocol participants. The Norwegian plumber said his barrier solution felt like an old job he'd done before. The Kenyan preteen described her frequency discoveries as dancing to a beat I've always known. "We need to expand the program," Amanda told General Martinez later that night. "These aren't random flukes. Something about human intuition is cracking problems that should take centuries to solve. We need to find out why." As if in response, Ashley's device pulsed, And for a brief moment, a hole the size of a quarter appeared in the barrier above her facility. It was gone in an instant, but it was enough. Humanity had just taken its first step through the aliens' impenetrable wall. The Prodigy Protocol was working. But no one, not even the archivists, understood just how deep this rabbit hole would go. Michael Ghost Anderson hadn't slept in 48 hours, but he couldn't stop now. The former Marine's fingers flew across his keyboard, his prosthetic right hand moving with inhuman precision as he dove deeper into the alien network. After Ashley's breakthrough, he'd discovered something in the barrier's code, a backdoor that shouldn't exist. "Come on, show me your secrets," he muttered, lines of alien code reflecting in his cybernetic eye implant, a souvenir from his last deployment. The neural interface he'd jury-rigged was giving him a splitting headache, but he was close. So close. His screen suddenly filled with cascading data. "Got you." At the Quantum Research Division, Dr. Amanda Brooks's phone buzzed at 3 a.m. She answered it before the first ring finished. "This better be good, Ghost. Better than good. Remember how the barrier felt like a game boundary to Jack? That's because it's not just a barrier. It's an observation system, and I just found their record files." Amanda was already getting dressed. "I'm on my way. Don't touch anything else." Too late. Ghost's voice was tight with tension. "Amanda, they'd been watching us since before we were us. Earth isn't just some random planet they decided to quarantine. We're their experiment. All of us." 30 minutes later, Amanda stood behind Ghost's chair, watching in stunned silence as he played back the archivist's records. The holographic display showed Earth's evolutionary history, but not like any version they'd learned in school. They seeded Earth with DNA from extinct civilizations. Ghost explained, his organic eye bloodshot from staring at screens too long. Thousands of them. Species that achieved greatness but died out for various reasons. The archivists preserved their genetic material and mixed and matched. "A genetic library," Amanda whispered. "They turned Earth into a backup drive for dead civilizations. More than that." Ghost pulled up another file. Each species had unique traits: mathematical insight, artistic creativity, engineering intuition. The archivists thought these traits were incompatible, that mixing them would create non-viable organisms. But then, we happened. Amanda sat down hard in a spare chair. That's why Ashley's breakthrough felt familiar to her. Why that plumber in Norway solved quantum mechanics using plumbing concepts. We're not just accessing human knowledge. We're remembering skills from extinct alien civilizations. Ghost finished. Our DNA carries echoes of their knowledge. The archivists didn't just preserve these species' genetics, they preserved their potential. In her specially modified research room, Ashley Martinez sat up suddenly in bed, her latest dream still vivid in her mind. She grabbed her notebook and started sketching, her hand moving almost on its own. The design flowing onto the paper wasn't human technology, but somehow she knew exactly how it worked. General Martinez burst into Ghost's office, followed by Jack Thompson. "Please tell me we can use this," she said, skipping any preamble. Ghost grinned, his cybernetic eye glowing faintly in the dim room. "Already am. The archivist's network is built on the principles of one of those extinct civilizations, and thanks to their own experiment, that civilization is part of us now. I don't need to hack their system. I can speak its language." "That's why they're so afraid," Jack said, studying the genetic maps. "They wanted to preserve knowledge, but instead, they created something new. We're not just remembering humanity's past. We're channeling the collective knowledge of 1,000 dead civilizations," Amanda finished. "Every human breakthrough, every intuitive leap. We're not just making lucky guesses, we're rediscovering what these species knew, but in ways they never imagined." Ghost's screen suddenly flashed red. "Oh, they noticed me. The archivists know we know." Above them, the barrier pulsed with new energy as the aliens attempted to strengthen their containment. But it was too late. The knowledge was out. Ashley's voice came through on Amanda's phone. "Dr. Brooks, I had another dream. I know how to break through the barrier. And I think I know why they're really containing us. We're not just an experiment anymore. We're their replacement." The video was grainy, captured by makeshift quantum transmitters piercing the barrier, but its impact shook the galactic community. On screens across 1,000 worlds, Ashley Martinez danced while solving quantum equations. Her movements flowed with natural grace as complex mathematical formulas appeared in the air around her, drawn by the quantum visualization technology Ghost had rigged up. Think of particle entanglement like a dance, her voice carried across species barriers. Every particle has its partner, its rhythm. The universe isn't just math, it's music. In the Meridian capital, crystalline beings vibrated in harmony with her movements. On the gas giant colonies of the Vexry, their youth began mimicking her gestures, finding that the movements indeed helped them grasp concepts their teachers had struggled to explain for generations. "This is unprecedented," Caxtool reported to an increasingly agitated council. "The human cultural transmissions are causing physiological changes in developing species. Their art, their music, it's not just entertainment, it's awakening something." In her lab, Dr. Amanda Brooks watched the feedback pouring in from their quantum broadcasts. "It's like their DNA recognizes ours," she mused, studying the data. Every species the archivists sampled, every civilization they preserved, they all left traces in the galaxy. And now we're speaking to those traces. Jack Thompson burst into the lab, his usual calm demeanor electrified with excitement. "You need to see this. The barrier, it responds to music. Not just any music. Human music." They rushed to the testing chamber where Ashley had set up her latest experiment. A simple string quartet played in one corner, but the barrier above them danced with colors never seen before. Each note seemed to resonate with the quantum field, creating patterns that shouldn't be possible. "It's not just the mathematics," Ashley explained, her eyes bright with understanding. "Every civilization the archivists preserved had their own arts, their own music. When we make art, we're not just creating. We're remembering every beautiful thing they ever made." On the Galactic Council, the first cracks began to show. The younger species representatives demanded access to human cultural transmissions. Underground networks sprung up, sharing human music, art, and ideas across the containment barrier. A Vexry youth movement adopted Earth's classical music as their anthem of rebellion. Meridian philosophers began incorporating human poetry into their crystalline thought structures. Even the silicon-based Harmonious Collective found themselves irresistibly drawn to human jazz, their binary thoughts taking on new improvisational patterns. "You don't understand," Caxtool pleaded with the council. "Their art carries memories, emotional echoes of every species we preserved. When they create, they're not just expressing themselves. They're giving voice to civilizations we thought were lost forever." In a secure facility beneath Seattle, Ghost worked with Ashley to amplify their transmissions. His cybernetic systems interfaced with her intuitive understanding, creating broadcasts that carried more than just information. "Each transmission is like a key," he explained to General Martinez. "We're not just sending signals, we're sending remembrance. Every species out there carries fragments of the civilizations we contain. When they experience our art, they remember who they could have been," the general finished, watching as another section of the barrier rippled with impossible colors. Dr. Brooks called an emergency meeting. "The barrier isn't failing," she announced, showing the latest readings. "It's transforming. The quantum field isn't just containing us anymore, it's resonating with us. Every song, every dance, every piece of art we send out there changes its fundamental structure." Jack grinned, pulling up his old game design interfaces. "The best way to break a game boundary isn't to attack it. It's to convince the game that the boundary shouldn't exist at all." Above them, the ever-present aurora of the barrier began to sing. The frequencies matched the string quartet from earlier, but with harmonies no human instrument could produce. The aliens weren't just listening anymore. They were joining in. "They're trying to shut down our transmissions," Ghost reported, monitoring the archivist's networks. "But they can't. You can't quarantine creativity. You can't contain art." Ashley stepped up to her quantum transmitter, ready to begin another demonstration. "Then let's give them a performance they'll never forget. It's time for the galaxy to remember how to dance." Captain Emma Reynolds stood in the vast underground hangar beneath Mount Rainier, staring up at humanity's impossible achievement. The vessel before her gleamed with a subtle iridescence, its hull incorporating the same quantum crystalline structure as the barrier above. They'd named it Dreamweaver, the first ship of Earth's hidden fleet. "Beautiful, isn't she?" Dr. Amanda Brooks appeared beside her, dark circles under her eyes betraying countless sleepless nights. Ashley's dreams, Ghost's coding, Jack's game theory, and about 1,000,000 other impossible ideas, all wrapped up in one package. "And it actually works?" Emma asked, running her hand along the ship's smooth surface. The hull seemed to pulse slightly at her touch, like a living thing. "In theory, absolutely. In practice?" Amanda shrugged. "We'll find out when you fly it." Similar scenes played out in hidden facilities around the world. Beneath the Sahara, the Australian outback, the Amazon rainforest, humanity had turned their prison's own technology against it, building ships designed to slip through the very barrier meant to contain them. In his command center, Ghost's fingers danced across holographic interfaces, his cybernetic eye glowing as he coordinated with facilities worldwide. "The archivists are getting suspicious," he reported. "They've detected power fluctuations but can't pinpoint the sources. We've got maybe 48 hours before they figure it out." Jack Thompson looked up from his console, where he was running final simulations. "Good thing we're launching tonight then." The plan was audacious. While Ashley's public broadcasts had kept the archivists focused on cultural transmission, teams worldwide had been harvesting energy from the barrier itself. Each fluctuation, each resonance with human music and art, had been captured and stored. "The containment field isn't just a wall," Ashley explained during the final briefing. "It's the most sophisticated energy matrix ever created, and we've spent months teaching it to dance to our rhythm." Emma studied the mission protocols. "So these ships are made from the same energy they use to contain us," Amanda finished. "The barrier won't stop them because, in a very real sense, they are the barrier. Just repurposed." General Martinez addressed the gathered crew. "Everything we've done, the broadcasts, the art, the music, it wasn't just rebellion. It was preparation. We've been teaching the barrier to recognize us as part of itself." In orbit, the first signs of the barrier's transformation were visible from space. The usual aurora had taken on new patterns, pulsing with what looked like purpose. The archivists' observation posts reported increasing anomalies. "The containment field is becoming something else," Caxtool warned the Council. "The humans haven't been fighting it. They've been evolving it." In the Dreamweaver's cockpit, Emma ran through final checks. The ship's systems were unlike anything in human aviation history. Instead of traditional controls, it responded to a mixture of thought, emotion, and music. The quantum drive hummed in harmony with her heartbeat. "Remember," Ashley's voice came through her headset, "the ship doesn't just fly. It resonates. Feel the rhythm of it, like dancing with a partner who already knows your steps." Ghost's voice cut in. "Quantum signatures are aligned. The barrier's harmony is at peak resonance. It's now or never, Captain." Emma took a deep breath, placing her hands on the crystalline control interface. The ship's hum changed pitch, matching the frequency of her nervous system. Around the world, other vessels powered up in similar harmony. "Dreamweaver Actual, ready for launch," she reported. "All vessels, sync to my quantum signature on my mark." In the Archivist's observation hub, alarms blared as energy readings spiked worldwide. Caxtol watched in horror as their impenetrable barrier began to ripple like water. "Now," Emma commanded. The Dreamweaver rose silently, its hull shimmering with the same energy that powered the barrier. As it approached the containment field, there was no resistance, no collision. The barrier simply parted, recognizing the ship as part of itself. Humanity's hidden fleet emerged into space, not by breaking through their prison, but by becoming one with it. They hadn't escaped the barrier, they had evolved beyond it. Emma smiled as the stars became visible through the quantum field. Control, Dreamweaver Actual. Operation Harmony is a go. Time to show the galaxy how humanity dances among the stars. The Galactic Council chamber erupted in chaos as the Dreamweaver materialized in the sacred space above their gathering. The quantum crystalline ship pulsed with impossible colors, its hull singing harmonies that resonated with the very architecture of the ancient meeting place. Captain Emma Reynolds's voice broadcasted across all frequencies, translated simultaneously into every known galactic language. "We come not for revenge, but for reunion." The Vexery representatives' bioluminescent crests flared in patterns of shock and awe. The meridians hummed in frequencies of both fear and fascination. Only the archivists, led by Caxtol, maintained their rigid posture of authority, though their skin rippled with barely contained anxiety. "The humans have breached containment," High Counselor Zintax declared, raising all four hands for emergency protocols. "Our defenses must." "Must what?" Ashley Martinez's voice cut through the chamber as she stepped through a quantum portal, accompanied by Dr. Amanda Brooks and Ghost. "Must contain us. Must stop us from sharing what we've learned." The 16-year-old prodigy walked to the center of the chamber, her movements flowing with the same grace that had captivated billions in her quantum dance videos. "You wanted to preserve the knowledge of lost civilizations," Amanda addressed the archivists directly. "We're not here to destroy that dream. We're here to fulfill it." Ghost's cybernetic eye scanned the chamber, interfacing with ancient systems. Holographic displays sprang to life around them, showing the solutions humanity had developed during their containment. "Every species you preserved in our DNA left us gifts," he explained. "Not just knowledge, but ways of seeing, of thinking, of dreaming." Above the chamber, more ships of Earth's fleet emerged from quantum space. Each vessel carried teams of human scientists, artists, and innovators, ready to share what they'd discovered. But it was the next arrival that truly shook the Council. A Vexery youth ship decloaked beside the Dreamweaver, its hull modified with human quantum technology. "We stand with Earth," its captain declared. A Meridian crystalline vessel followed, then others, young species who had been inspired by humanity's broadcasts. "Your containment field didn't just imprison us," Ashley explained, drawing quantum equations in the air with graceful gestures. "It connected us, to each other, to our past, to every civilization whose echoes live in our DNA. And through our art, our music, our dreams, we connected to them." She pointed to the young alien allies around them. Caxtol stepped forward, their skin shifting through complex emotional patterns. The experiment was never meant to succeed. Emma's voice rang from above. "But it did. Just not in the way you expected. We didn't just preserve the knowledge you wanted to save. We transformed it, combined it, made it into something new." Amanda activated a quantum interface, and the chamber filled with demonstrations. Human medical techniques combining a dozen ancient healing traditions. Engineering that merged protovopologeny principles into impossible new forms. Art that spoke to the deepest cellular memories of every species present. "You can't contain evolution," Ghost stated, his organic and cybernetic eyes fixed on the archivists. "You can't quarantine creativity. The civilizations you sought to preserve, they're not just memories anymore. They're alive in us, growing, changing, becoming something new." The chamber filled with music, a harmony of human and alien compositions, blending what was lost with what could be. The younger species representatives began moving to its rhythm, their bodies remembering dances their ancestors had never known. "The choice is yours," Ashley addressed the council, her voice carrying the weight of countless lost civilizations. "Keep trying to contain knowledge, to control evolution itself, or—" She extended her hand, and above her, the quantum ships began a dance of their own, weaving patterns of light and energy that spoke to something ancient in every being present. "Or join the dance," Emma finished. "Help us build something new. Not just a galactic civilization, but a galactic celebration of everything that was, is, and could be." The chamber fell silent as the council faced their moment of decision. The age of containment was over. The age of combination had begun. 1 year after Operation Open Hand, the former containment barrier pulsed with new purpose. What once imprisoned Earth now served as the backbone of a revolutionary transportation network, connecting civilizations that had been isolated for millennia. The quantum crystalline field, reshaped by human creativity and alien wisdom, had become a bridge rather than a wall. Ashley Martinez stood at the podium of the first Galactic Unity Conference, her young face projected across thousands of worlds. Behind her, the Dreamweaver hovered alongside ships of every known species, their hulls shimmering with the same harmonious energy that now linked the galaxy. "A year ago, we faced a choice," she began, her voice carrying the confidence of someone who had helped reshape the cosmos. "We could have used our breakthrough to seek vengeance. Instead, we chose to share our greatest discovery, that the real power of knowledge isn't in containing it, but in combining it." In the audience, Dr. Amanda Brooks sat between Captain Emma Reynolds and Ghost, watching her young protege with pride. The former barriers that had divided species were gone, replaced by quantum bridges that allowed instant travel and communication across the galaxy. The archivists tried to preserve civilization by containing it. Ashley continued, gesturing to where Caxtol sat among the delegates. "But civilization isn't meant to be preserved. It's meant to grow, to change, to dance with new possibilities." Ghost's cybernetic systems interfaced with the conference's quantum network, projecting images of the transformation. Worlds that had stagnated for centuries now buzzed with innovation. The Meridians had incorporated human music into their crystalline architecture, creating cities that sang with their inhabitants. Vexry artists collaborated with Earth's dancers, their bioluminescent performances becoming a new form of quantum mathematics. "Every species carries memories," Ashley explained, drawing patterns in the air that ripple through quantum space. "Not just in their DNA, but in their dreams, their art, their way of seeing the universe. When we share those memories, when we let them combine and evolve, we create something greater than the sum of our parts." Captain Reynolds touched a control on her quantum interface, and the Dreamweaver began a complex dance with the assembled ships. Their movements created patterns in space-time itself, demonstrating how the former containment technology had been transformed into an art form all its own. "Look at our ships." Ashley gestured upward. "They don't fight against space-time. They dance with it. That's humanity's gift to the galaxy. Not just our knowledge or our creativity, but our understanding that the universe isn't something to be controlled. It's a partner in an endless dance of discovery." In the years since Earth's emergence, the galaxy had changed more than it had in the previous millennium. The archivists' databases, once locked away, had been transformed into living libraries where species could share not just information, but experiences. The quantum network carried dreams and memories across light years, allowing civilizations to learn from each other in ways never before possible. "The containment field was built to preserve the past," Ashley said, her voice carrying emotion that transcended species barriers. "We turned it into a bridge to the future. But the real transformation wasn't in the technology." She paused, looking out at the assembled delegates. It was an understanding that civilization doesn't need walls. It needs windows. It needs doors. It needs dance partners. The quantum field above rippled with colors as ships from Earth's hidden fleet emerged, each carrying new innovations to share. But they weren't just human vessels anymore. Every ship was a collaboration, combining technologies and insights from across the galaxy. "We are all carrying echoes," Ashley concluded, her words resonating through quantum space. Echoes of lost civilizations, of ancient wisdom, of forgotten dreams. But echoes aren't meant to be contained. They're meant to be heard, to be shared, to inspire new songs. As if in response, the quantum network that spanned the galaxy began to sing. It was a harmony of human music and alien mathematics, of ancient memories and new discoveries. The containment field that once imprisoned Earth had become exactly what humanity made of everything it touched, an instrument of connection, creation, and change. The universe wasn't just listening anymore, it was dancing to humanity's song.